Think about how many hip-hop stars directly came from a producer's cosign. When Dr. Dre backed an artist, they often became superstars. In fact, some of hip-hop's biggest names came directly from his cosign. But when DJ Premier backed an artist, something strange kept happening. Groups he personally championed received major production from him, credible cosigns, even entire projects built around his sound, and still never broke through. So how does one of the greatest producers in hip-hop history struggle to create stars of his own? Because when you start looking at artists like Group Home, NYG'z, and Pitch Black, a very unusual pattern begins to reveal itself.
I am Broadway, the lyricist, homie, just let me do my thing. I'm on top, on my grind, I'ma always get it.
Thank you guys for clicking on this video. I go by the name Broadway, the Lyricist. I'm a hip-hop enthusiast and cultural storyteller. And if you're a fan of hip-hop commentary, history, or anything related to the culture, be sure to hit that like button. And if you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel and click that bell icon so you never miss an upload. DJ Premier's production resume reads like a list of hip-hop classics. Records with Nas, the Notorious B.I.G., Jay-Z, and of course Gang Starr helped define the sound of an entire era. But when Premier tried to elevate artists of his own, the results were very different. And the reason behind that difference became fascinating about how the music industry works. One of the earliest examples of this pattern appeared in the mid-1990s with Group Home. The duo released the album Living Proof in 1995. From a production standpoint, the album is widely considered a classic. DJ Premier handled most of the production, and the beats are layered, precise, and unmistakably Premier. But listeners noticed something unusual. The production was often being praised more than the rapping itself, which created a strange contradiction. Legendary producer, creating legendary beats for artists who never became major stars. And it wouldn't be the last time that happened. Years later, the pattern surfaced again with Pitch Black, a Brooklyn rap group supported by DJ Premier. Once again, the beats carried the signature Premier sound. Once again, the credibility of a legendary producer was there, but the industry momentum never fully materialized. Then came NYG'z, another group associated with Premier and the extended Gang Starr Foundation circle. Their debut features strong involvement from Premier and his year-round records camp. And once again, the formula looked familiar. Strong production, credible cosign, but no breakthrough moment that pushed the group into the mainstream spotlight. So why didn't the DJ Premier cosign work the way the Dr. Dre cosign often did? Before we answer that question, there's something important to notice. The artist didn't struggle because the production was weak. In fact, the opposite was true. Some of these records feature some of DJ Premier's most respected work, which raises an even more interesting possibility. What if the issue wasn't the beats, or even the talent of the artists themselves? Although a few of them were questionable. What if the real difference has something to do with how DJ Premier approached the role of a producer? Because when you compare his approach to someone like Dr. Dre, the contrast becomes very clear. When Dr. Dre introduces an artist to the world, it usually signals something very specific. A new star is about to arrive. Artists like Snoop, 50 Cent, and Eminem didn't just receive production from Dre, they received positioning, image, singles, marketing. In other words, Dre wasn't just producing records. He was helping construct entire careers. DJ Premier approached that role very differently. And that creates one of the strangest paradoxes in hip-hop production. A producer capable of creating classic records with legendary artists, but whose own proteges rarely reach that same level of mainstream success. Dr. Dre often approached music like an architect of stars. DJ Premier approached it like a craftsman of records. Where Dre builds careers around artists, Premier builds records around the craft of hip-hop itself. And those two approaches can lead to very different outcomes. So maybe the real question isn't why DJ Premier's artists didn't become stars. Maybe the real question is whether that was ever the goal. When you listen to albums like Living Proof today, the production still sounds timeless. Some producers chase hits, some producers chase stardom. But DJ Premier always seemed to be chasing something else entirely, the perfect hip-hop record. And that may be a different kind of legacy. But I'm curious what you think. First off, have you heard of any of these artists that Premier co-signed? If so, do you think DJ Premier's cosign actually hurt some of these artists? Or did it give them the credibility that lasts longer than fame? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button. It definitely helps the channel more than you know. Subscribe if you haven't already, and click that bell icon so you get notified when I upload new videos. And if you enjoy deep dives into hip-hop history, where are they now, or albums we don't talk about enough style videos, feel free to click on one of my playlists. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate y'all. Peace.